Going team, sorry I haven't posted in a while, been pretty bloody busy doing things, but yeah, thought to myself, most of the time I've been working on cars. My brother's come over from New Zealand, so I've been helping him do his car. Old girl needed some new wheel bearings. I should have made a video about that, and then this car needed an oil change, so I thought I'd show you guys doing an oil change today. And yeah, I might start posting this kind of thing because it's all life skills that you could learn. I'm pretty handy with cars, so might save you a few $100s, few $1,000 teaching you how to fix your own car, maintain your beast. So hope you enjoy, team. Oil change to do on a Hyundai Tucson today. Yeah, got to get the base plate off. All these new cars have base plates. Fun. These bad boys makes jacking up a lot faster if you need to. I like to jack the car up, chuck the old axle stand on it, just to get a bit more clearance. So I'm a bit of a big boy, so it takes a bit to squeeze under these, but I've got a lot of screws under here to get this bash plate off. So yeah, I'll do that. Just spend today talking you through a oil change, I guess. Just it's a handy thing to know to do yourself, kind of thing. Save a bit of money, save your labour costs, and it's pretty straightforward. I would recommend taking the oil cap off just to stop any kind of vacuuming. Not that it usually does, but can cause a bit of a vacuum if you don't take it off. So, little tip there. A trick when you're doing these batch plates is always start at the back here, because as you can see it drops as you take it off. So you do that at the front at first, you're probably going to end up with it lying on your face as you're trying to do the back. So back, sides, work really round to the front. Got one more here, and then there's usually a few middle ones. There's 1, 2, should have been 3, but it looks like the last mechanic's been pinching a few. I've found about 3 10mm screws missing, but yeah, it doesn't really affect it too much as long as it's held in there. But as you can see, it protects from the dust, a few stones and that getting up dirty in the engine. Keeps a bit cleaner underneath, a bit less seas getting nuts off because they don't have dust welding them on. Yeah. Alright, so there you have it. Got the bash plate off. There's the oil filter there, so you need to replace that when you do an oil change. And this little nut back here, that'll let all the oil out. A little trick for these, I've got tools, but if you don't have tools to get these off because they get on quite tight, you can bash a Phillips head screwdriver straight through. Turn it like that, anything long and metal. It's a bit of a hide in my customs way, but yeah, very rarely will you get these off with your hand. Yeah, I'll get the oil pan now and we'll start draining it, and yeah, I'll show you the tools I do have to get these off. Crack that nut off, use the extension bar for that. They're usually done up quite tight. So undo it now and let it drain. You want an oil pan for this kind of thing because it gets a bit messy. And yeah, so before you do your oil change, go down to somewhere like Repco or Super Cheap, because each car has a different type of oil and a different type of filter. Don't just go in there and grab the cheapest shit you can, because you'll get home, get halfway through it, drain your car of oil, realise your oil filter don't go back on because you've grabbed the wrong one, or you might grab too thin oil and ends up just burning up, and it's not too great for the engine. So make sure you get the right parts, not the cheapest parts, team. This oil's looking pretty good. It needed to change it because it just had a new engine, so they advised changing it after the first 1000 Ks, so that's what we're doing now. But if it comes out black, it was probably overdue an oil change. And yeah, if it like when you're sharing and you fill up your bottle, if you see milky type of oil, has water in it, and you probably want to go to a mechanic's if you see milky oil, because that usually means you've got a blown head gasket, which is yeah, no good. So yeah, about $3 to fix that. But yeah, so we'll let this drain out, tip this somewhere good, and yeah, show you how to do the oil filter next. These are the usual oil filter removers. I do a few oil changes on a few different cars, and these don't suit everything. You can get them in different sizes, but this one's more universal. Kind of clamps on and then kind of twist it off. Helps if you get any filters in a hard spot, and yeah, pretty good for any size. But like I said, if you don't have the money to go spend on these, Phillips head screwdriver and a hammer will do the same job, but it is a lot messier because you're punching a hole through a filter full of oil. So yeah, and just always remember, lefty loosey, you go righty tighty on an oil filter, it makes it all the harder to get off. So yeah, let's get it. Another must have is a rag as well, so you get little spots of oil here and there, and where that's dripping you'll need to wipe that off, and usually give that a wipe too. So you just want to have a little oil rag. I use an old shearing singlet that's a bit past its use by date. It helps clean it all up, and yeah, one of these you can use a bucket or whatever, really it's just to catch it, but these are a bit handier. They got a spot so you can hang the oil filter up and let that drain its oil out as well, and easy to pour in a bigger container at the end there, a little nozzle. So yeah, and these aren't expensive, they're only like $10 or something, maybe less. Yeah, we'll get onto this oil filter now, I reckon. Alright, first time with this gizmo, so hopefully it goes well, but pretty much so go like that. Keep the tension. There we go, starting to turn now. As you can see by the dent, it's a lot of force that goes into getting these bastards off sometimes. So, there you go, really starting to loosen off now. Just about be able to get the rest off with my hands. I can tell you right now, team, that was a lot easier with this than it was with the other ones. Let's pause this video again. I've only got a minute because I'm chucking them on my story as well, but get this bad boy out in a sec. Alright, so that oil's just dripping now, so I'll give that a wipe up. Give the old water wipe off there. And chuck that back in. Now a trick to getting all nuts in without counter threading them is turn them back the loose way first. They'll fall into the grooves, and then easy peasy just do them up. So a little lefty loosey before you're righty tighty, and it'll line up perfectly. Alright, so let's stop the oil dripping. Always remember to tighten that up before you chuck more oil in it. I just need that cut off so I can go under the oil filter here. Alright, so loosened this off before, so now I can do it by hand, easy peasy. You see just how dented that was getting that off. So yeah, you're not going to get it with your hands, you're going to need some kind of tool, whether it is the Phillips head. And there we go, see there's the oil. There you go, drop straight in there, starts leaking out. It's going to have a little bit of a drip for a bit, but yeah, easy peasy, catches it all. Sweet. One thing to make sure you check, so inside here in that groove right there, there's a rubber ring. So if you pull it out and the rubber ring's not there, it's still stuck there. There you can see it. So you just need to get that off. So if you go to try put another oil filter on with this on, it's not going to line up properly and you're going to end up with an oil leak. Oil leaks out everywhere on the floor, the engine cooks itself. So yeah, something to look out for there. So it's on the oil filter how to install them. It's on that rubber ring. Once we get the plastic off, we'll quickly wipe a bit of the old oil just across there, tighten her up. Minimum 3/4 turn after gasket contacts the mounting pad. So once it's that circle there, got to do at least a 3/4 turn to make sure it's tight enough. And yeah, then after that, tighten up your bolt, fill her up. Yeah, give it a go. Look underneath, make sure there's no oil leaking out from anywhere. If there is, retighten. Stop the car, retighten. And then only after you know it's not leaking oil do you put the bash plate back on. You don't want to just sit there, chuck everything on, because that could be a fatal mistake. So yep, chuck this on now. Alright, so I'm just dipping my finger in oil, rubbing it around that crankcase, or the rubber ring. Make sure it's nice and lubed, just a little bit, just so it's all wet. Wipe my fingers off for a bit of grip. Like I said, a little bit of a left turn, you feel it lock in, there we go. And with the right turn. So it's contacted. Fingers are a bit slippery. You pretty much want to do it up as tight as you can with your hands, and that's usually good enough. Like I said, we'll check it to make sure it's not leaking in oil. So yeah, it's as tight as I can get it. Just try it again with the rag on your hands, because sometimes your hands get a fine full of film of oil on it. And yeah, there we go. It's got a little bit more with that. Beauty. Right, now on to the tightening part. Yeah. Just want to really get it so nothing's going to be leaking anywhere. Yeah, can't move that anymore, so it should be tight enough. No oil dripping around there. We'll find out more once we fill it up, but yeah, just give it a wipe down. Fill her up. I'll show you how to make a Hori funnel if you don't have one, and yeah, fill her up, put the cap on and start it. That's pretty much it. It's a pretty straightforward job. It'll save you a lot of money if you can do it yourself, because you know mechanics, they love to charge the labour. You can grab an old bottle, fizzy bottle, water bottle. Just make sure you give it a wipe out with your rag. And yeah, no water going in there. Clean as, look at that. So I'll chuck the oil in there now. You usually just want to chuck 3 litres, let it settle for a bit, check the dipstick, and then just top it up from there. And then yeah, once it's full, I'll show you the process, but yeah, once it's full, just yeah, cap it off. Alright, so you got markings, as you can see. This is a 5 litre bottle. Usually tip it down to about there, let it rest, and then check the dipstick. I'll show you how to do that properly as well. And yeah, pretty much go from there. Okay, it's just past the 4 litre mark. We can't see it, there we go. See it dipping. So just repeat until we're down to that 2 litre. Yeah, so we're down to about that 2 litre mark now. So I'll just put this all to the side. So what you want to do when you're checking your dipstick, pull it out, give it a wipe, and pull it back in, back out again. You see there, when it focuses, just about there on the marker there, so it needs a bit more of a top up, and we'll keep going till it's at or just below this mark here. Everyone's different. Sometimes you have 2 dots. The second dot's the top, and you don't really want to go over there too much because you cause a bit of overpressure. But yeah, anywhere in between the low and full range is good. Closer to the full's better. Yeah. So we'll let that settle for a little bit more. Alright, now when it's hit the dipstick, majority of the oil's in there, so it's like if it's halfway and you've put 3 litres in, that doesn't mean put another 3 litres in. Probably just try and put it half a litre at a time and check it. And yeah, there we go. About another half litre. Just let it settle because it takes time. It's running from the top of the engine, and where that dipstick's going and it's all collecting is in that black box at the bottom that we undone that bung from, so it takes a bit of time to travel down there. Try this again with the wipe. Always make sure you wipe it before you check it, because when it drops down it's actually covering the dipstick a bit. That quick in and out's the way to go. So it's still dripping, see, half a litre, and she's looking like it's just about full, so I'll let that settle, stop dripping down. But yeah, it's looking like we've hit the mark there. Yeah, so there we go. She's just on that full mark. Wet there, not above. So we hit the money on that one. Not very often that happens, so all good. And you just want to, after you run the car the next morning, just check it again, because sometimes oil running through the engine can pick up a bit out of the sump. There's always some oil that stays around in the engine, so it clings on, doesn't seize, especially like Magnatec and that. So yeah, fucking beauty. Put the cap on, start her up. So when you put the cap back on, you'll turn it, start clicking a bit like your petrol can. That's how you know it's done. Give it a little wipe. There's only a few drops usually spilt on the top. Make sure you have that funnel, because yeah, that save you spilling oil all over here. If you do spill oil, it's no biggie, but your engine's probably going to smoke as the heat of it burns it off when you're running it. And yeah, it smells fucking yuck, and might get you worrying about if you're broken your car or not. So easier just to be tidy with it, wipe a few drops off the plastic, and yeah, you'll be good to go. Alright, moment of truth. So when you first started it, if you hear a little bit of ticking at the start, it's just the tappets at the top of the engine. The oil has to feed back up to them. They've been drained dry, but it should go away in under 30 seconds or a minute. So here we go. Pretty good. And under here, nothing's dripping. There you go, that's all the oil all through the engine now. If the oil filter's leaking, oil will drip down and pool on here. So make sure for that, and if the oil bung's leaking, it'll start dripping off that nut. So once it's gone down, see, it's not making as much sound now. You just want to Just want to give it a few revs. That'll put a bit of pressure on it. So if anything's loose, you'd rather it happen in the garage than when you're driving down the road. So alright. So check under, hopefully we don't see a pool of oil. There we go, all good. And yeah, that's that, team. So and look at that, that's all that dripped off from the thing. So it's just a little wipe with a rag once I back the car out, easy peasy. Bugger all oil stains. Yeah, good to go, team. So yeah, there's something, if you learn to do that yourself, then you know, you save yourself a couple $100 a year, maybe half a grand a year. You should be changing your oil about every 5,000 to 10,000 Ks. So I know a lot of you have been like, shit, I haven't changed that in about 30,000 to 50,000 Ks. So might want to get onto it, because yeah, it's how me old girl here managed to make it to $500,000. So yeah, you just got a regular maintenance. Love your beast, it'll love you. So yeah, bloody beautiful, team. As always, level up every day, every way.
Hey, I'm about to go level up. I cannot settle for nothing. I never been regular. Always knew I could do better. I find